when she says her boyfriend doesn't get it.
I want you to treat me like a woman.
She means he really doesn't get it.
It's been 5 months now and I haven't even had sex with her.
But her blind date was so romantic
Red.
I kissed her all over.
that both guys were seeing red.
Is she a full redhead or what? She's red.
After he has a blind date too,
Did you make out in the back of the car?
And we went back to my place.
will they stay together or have a change of heart?
Chris Jagger, welcome to Change of Heart. This is a show where couples who've reached a crossroads in their relationship voluntarily go on one blind date with someone new. Now we're going to meet their dates later, but first let's meet our couple. Now, she admits she's a former geek who left St. Louis about 2 years ago to spread her wings out here on the West Coast. Now, 5 months ago, she saw him streak through a party wearing nothing but a G-string. It was at that point that she fell for him on the spot, and they've been together ever since. Please welcome Steve Forsyth and Andrea Kay. Welcome to the program. Now, I understand your relationship's not really on a winning streak these days, and that's why you're here. But Andrea, tell us what he looked like in that G-string at that party.
Oh my God. He looked amazing. You wouldn't know it with the clothes on, but he has the most amazing body I've ever seen. Magazine. He's beautiful.
All right. Well, Steve, you know, a G-string running through the party with nothing but that's a hard act to follow. But tell us about another amazing night that you've had with Andrea.
About the first month that we started dating, I took her out to dinner just down the street from where I live and right on the beach, and we had a nice romantic dinner, and then we took a nice stroll down the beach afterwards, and I brought her back to my place, and both my roommates luckily were out of town, so we built a fire, and she laid me out on the floor and gave me the most incredible massage, and the only thing I wish it was a full body massage, but other than that, it was perfect.
Well, not a bad start, I guess.
Yeah,
now, Andrea, does Steve fit the criteria for the perfect guy?
He's like too perfect. I mean, everything about him is perfection. He's got a great job, great family. I am an insecure woman, and I sometimes feel like I can't go to him when I'm not perfect too.
Is there anything that keeps her from being the perfect woman in your eyes?
Well, she's a control freak, and if she doesn't get her way, then she's pouting. That's exactly the way it always works. She wants me to have a plan, and I'm not like that. I like to go.
You never plan. I'd like to know what we do.
Well, I don't like to have a plan because if we have a plan and we deviate from the plan, then I did something wrong.
But I get all freaked out if I don't know.
I know, and that's what I'm saying.
Well, that's retarded.
You just like to know what's coming, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Andrea, besides controlling and planning, what do you guys fight about the most?
He is king of the frat boys, and he lives in Animal House. At any given moment, moment, I go to your house. There's like 30 people sleeping on the floor, and it's
not 30
ridiculous.
People. Only on the weekends too.
Oh, it's
just
not.
on the weekends.
Yeah, because they have no life and they come to visit Steve.
Yeah, but on the weekends is most of the time I would say people are getting romantic. Does that get in the way though with your romance?
I never ever get to see him alone.
She exaggerates everything.
That is not. Yes,
you do.
I like to be alone.
You should be hanging out with my friends. Are great friends.
Your friends are great, but I don't date them. I date you.
Right. And Steve, for you, is there any romance going on?
There's nothing. It's been five months now, and I haven't even had sex with her. What's going on? I mean, I don't know how. I've never been in a relationship like this, and it's just stalemated.
Andrea, let me ask you, is there a reason why there's not more passion?
Yeah, because he is like...
What?
You treat me like a pledge brother.
What are you talking about?
Pledge brother.
Yeah.
She gets upset because my friends go out with us sometime, but she can't hang with a group of people. She has to be just with me. And then I hear about it the rest of the night.
How many times have we been? I could count how many times we've been alone, and it's not a lot.
All right, explain, Andrea. I'll give you a chance here to explain what you would like him to do then in the relationship.
Okay, I want you to treat me like a woman. I want to feel pretty. I want to feel like
you're pretty. And I do tell you these things, but every time I tell you,
no,
you're just saying that because I said so.
I want to be swept off my feet.
You're just saying that now because you want me. That's what I want to hear.
No, that is not. I mean,
but Steve, why don't you work a little harder at that if you know that's what she wants?
But every time I do it, she thinks that I'm doing it just for that reason.
Because actions speak louder than words, and sometimes I like you to look into my eyes and feel like.
But you're the queen of mean. Every time I try to do something like that, it turns me off because you get all angry at me, and then I don't really want to do it for you.
Queen of mean. I think
you judge me. You judge me completely.
All right, Andrea, let me ask you this because obviously there's some issues here. Why you thought this was a good time, Andrea? Why you thought this was a good time that the two of you do these separate dates?
Because I think he's the perfect man, but sometimes I feel like maybe the person for me isn't so perfect and will accept me, and I just want somebody that maybe isn't so stud.
Okay. So we had a tough job trying to find you somebody that's not so perfect, I guess. It seems obviously that Steve and Andrea's relationship has a few low points here. Now, when we come back, we're going to meet the people that they dated, and we'll find out if they're going to stay together or if they'll have a change of heart. So stay with us. We are here with Andrea and Steve. Now, Andrea complains that Steve's too perfect, even though she says he's an aging frat boy, living in an animal house and treats her like a fraternity brother. So we sent her out with a guy who hates the frat boy mentality and lives to romance the opposite sex. Please welcome Lawrence Farley. How you doing? Good to see you. How you doing? Steve, let me ask you, Steve, do you think there's any chance that Andrea would think Lawrence is too perfect like you?
I'm not too worried. No, I'm not too worried at all.
Not a problem,
Not a problem. Should be fine.
All right. Andrea, perfection is a problem with you. Did Lawrence have any flaws?
Well, when he first called, we talked for a long time, and I'm not a phone girl, and he was talking a lot about what was going on in his life, and I felt like he maybe wasn't into knowing who I was.
Yeah. And Lawrence, is this how you recall the conversation? Just kind of one-sided and just you yakking away?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I think I found a lot about her. We talked for like, I think about 3 hours. You know, I found out she was a Virgo, that she likes to be like romanced, and she wasn't getting it, and she's not thrilled about it.
She gets it. She knows what she's doing. I do romance my girlfriend.
Well,
It's a different.
I think we'll get to that in a later segment.
All right, well, let me ask Andrea. Andrea, did Lawrence prove that he learned some things about you?
He did. When I was talking to him for 3 hours, I was freezing, and he brought me an electric blanket when he came to pick me up. So sweet. So I totally misjudged him.
A nice touch.
Misjudged him.
So,
Color coordinated to her room.
Yeah.
oh, really? So you're already thinking about the bedroom at this point, then you're bringing blankets.
Yeah.
That's one way to look at it.
Well, we talked about bed and breakfasts. Bed and breakfasts came up. She helped a friend that was having problems. She set him up with bed and breakfast. So I had planned a trip to go up to a bed and breakfast up the coast. And one bedroom, you know, one bed. And we talked about it, and it was cool. And I just think road trips are great. Anyways, I mean, if you're gonna get to know somebody, you know, you get to take in all the scenery, and you're in the car with them, and you listen to music, and you talk. You're gonna find out more about them than being in a bar or a restaurant. You know?
All right, so Andrea, we understand all that, but Andrea, on your part, any misgivings about doing an overnighter on the first date?
Absolutely not. I was looking at this whole situation as just I wanted my own personal fairy tale, and he walked in with that goatee and dressed so wonderful, he completely swept me off my feet.
Now, Steve, let me get your opinion on this. This is her first date. She meets the guy and she's off at some bed and breakfast somewhere.
Yeah, I didn't know that this was going to be a weekend in the woods or anything like that. But I guess if that's the way he wants to play it, to make sure he gets some loving, then that's the way he tried.
All right. Well, Andrea, since you guys,
Yeah, well.
I'm sorry.
It seemed a little more effective than what was going on before that.
Okay.
Well, I don't need to go out and buy or anything to do it. I think that I have my own personality and my own style works job.
Wow.
Andrea, you guys are heading out on a road trip, so I take it that you didn't get a chance to see whether or not Lawrence lives in an animal house type environment.
Different type of animal house. We went to his apartment, and it was just so charming. He decorated with bulls and matadors, and he had an amazing dog at his house. But no frat boys.
Dogs. What are you talking about?
Andrea, when you guys arrived up the coast there, did he treat you like a buddy or did he treat you like a woman?
He definitely treated me like a woman. He wined and dined me, and then we went back and I took a bubble bath. And he read me this amazing romantic book, and we drank wine. It was amazing.
So nothing like the frat boy nights you hang out with Steve here.
No kegs of beer.
What do you mean you took a bubble bath?
I did.
Did you take a bubble bath?
He was.
No, my feet did, though.
How your feet did?
Steve, does that surprise you that he was allowed in the bathroom?
A little bit.
Things seem to be moving and progressing rather fastly here. Did you get the impression that Andrea was thinking about Steve at all?
I didn't occur to me at all, not for a second. I think she was looking for something a little bit more sparked, and she just didn't seem to be.
So he didn't come up with the conversation. All right, Andrea, compare the way you felt with Lawrence compared to the way you are when you're with Steve.
There's really no comparison because, quite honestly, he spent more time looking at me and treating me like a woman in one night than Steve has in 5 months.
Why are you kidding me? I'm always around you. Every time that we go together. That's not true. That is not true.
That is so true.
Steve, that doesn't sound too good for you.
I don't think
but,
I could ever do enough.
But Andrea, let me ask, or do I dare ask,
enough.
Andrea, what happened after the bubble bath?
We got in bed and he gave me a massage. I was just in heaven. He gave me.
Just flip it around. If I could take it, I'll take it. Flip it around, you know. I'll take it.
Okay, now did I miss anything? You guys are now in bed, and was there a good night kiss or?
You didn't miss anything. There was a good night kiss. I kissed her. Yeah, I kissed her all over. Come on, man.
Full redhead or what?
Hey.
She's red. She's a redhead. And
We'll see.
and yeah, she's got an amazing tongue, by the way.
Well, here we are. We're at a bed and breakfast, obviously spending the night together. And how were things the next morning, Lawrence?
Next morning was great. Martha, who runs the place, she brought us in some, just a little bit light breakfast. We snarfed that down, and then
We had breakfast in bed.
then we went back to doing what they weren't doing in the 6 months they were or 5 months that they were together. And then we kind of were rushed, so we checked.
What do
out
you mean? What do you mean? Wait a minute.
No,
This is the morning.
Steve's afraid to
Yeah,
miss something the next morning, yeah.
The next morning we had a little
You're usually
replay of the night before.
Let me just make sure, because obviously, Lawrence, you did things with Andrea that the two of them weren't doing in the relationship.
I would say that's a fairly safe assumption.
Okay, just want to make sure that we're all clear here.
We're pretty clear.
And Andrea, then you had the drive home, and was that as perfect as the rest of this date went?
Miserable. We fought a lot, and
There we go.
we had basically like an instant relationship in 24 hours. We like full circle relationship.
All right, will a road trip up the coast and a night of bubbles and massaging in bed and breakfast going to be enough for Andrea to have a change of heart? We're going to find out later. But next we get to meet the woman that Steve dated, and we'll hear all about that next, so stay with us. With Lawrence, and now we get to meet the woman that Steve dated. Steve says that when Andrea wasn't being the queen of mean, she's a control freak. And on top of that, he says she needs to share more in the bedroom. So we found him a sexy queen of hearts. Please welcome Amy Fowles. How are you?
Welcome to Change of Heart.
Andrea, does Amy look like he could win over Steve's heart?
Not really. I mean, she's beautiful, but I'm a babe and I'm smart too, and he loves my red hair.
Hey, I got the brains behind the beauty, baby.
There you go. Amy, question for you. Andrea fell for Steve when he went streaking through a party with a G-string. Do you understand why that happened?
Oh, I wouldn't mind seeing this guy in a G-string.
So you did?
Yeah, definitely. No, I didn't get the chance this time, but I just love those big, nice, broad shoulders of his, and these wonderful legs, and yeah, sparkle in his eyes too.
All right, Steve, for you, compare the Queen of Mean compared to the Queen of Hearts as far as the looks go.
When I first opened the door, Amy's eyes are amazing. If you can see this from now, I don't know, but she's incredible eyes, and I couldn't stop staring at her. She's got a beautiful smile, and she's a gorgeous girl. But how often do you get a red hair that looks like this? I got it pretty good.
Okay. Amy, we heard a lot about Steve being maybe a little too perfect. Did you sense that at all?
Well, the date didn't exactly start out perfectly because he showed up 45 minutes late.
Big surprise!
So Andrea's not surprised.
I was starving.
hazing to do?
I didn't get any lunch.
hazing?
And
Clear my...
we missed our boat to Catalina Island.
Wait, you guys went to Catalina?
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Really?
I'd never
Andrea?
been there before.
Andrea, do you think Steve was thinking bed and breakfast the way Lawrence was?
I didn't know that he had that capability of thinking that.
I
because
haven't. I just chose to use it when I want to.
Okay, 5 months, we've never gone anywhere. Never gone anywhere.
Because you've always asked me to take you somewhere, and I'm like,
Well, I have to ask because you can't think of it on your own.
Well, Steve. Let me ask you a question. Steve, you missed the boat. How would the Queen of Mean acted if you had
she
done
would
that with
have ruined
her?
the whole day. That's why I wouldn't take it.
Oh, really?
Amy, we heard earlier that Lawrence and Andrea were doing some pretty romantic things on their date. What did you guys have planned, and what did you do?
Oh, we definitely had a romantic date. We had dinner on the water underneath the stars in Catalina, and for
Trying
dessert.
to get some, huh, Steve?
I would do it.
He did that with me at the beginning too.
Man's got to do what he's got to do, though. He's got on a date here. He's got to do something. All right, so there you are out under the stars.
Yeah, so for dessert we had strawberries and we dipped them in chocolate and whipped cream and fed each other.
Usually can't find the fork himself. You probably had to help him out.
We didn't need any forks.
Steve, while this was going on, were you getting a little touchy-feely?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we didn't touch too much at dinner because we were kind of eating and getting all over our hands.
Drinking
we didn't
some
want to
beer,
mess up each other. But we
Steve.
would go back on the boat together and we did snuggle up. It was a little cold and she put her legs up on mine. I had my hand on her and it was nice. I'm a gentleman.
Amy, anything to compare with Andrea and Lawrence as far as your date went?
Well, yeah, when we were standing at the end of the pier, we were standing there and we were gazing into each other's eyes and we put our arms around each other and we started kissing and he was stroking my hair. And I was
Really?
rubbing his shoulders. Yeah, it was very romantic, very sensual.
And Steve, anything you'd like to add about that little
She's
situation and that
wonderful.
kiss?
It went perfectly. It was the perfect moment. It was great.
Amy, did Steve at any point on this date treat you like a frat boy buddy?
Not at all. He was a perfect gentleman the entire time. He was so sweet. We were driving along and I had this huge chocolate craving. And so he immediately pulled over at the nearest drugstore and bought me 2 of my favorite chocolate bars.
Steve, she's craving chocolate, right? You know what they say about that.
Yeah, it was starting to get a little exciting at that point too, and I put the 2 and 2 together, and she didn't deny it. So it went.
Did you make out in the back of the car?
Amy, he's putting 2 and 2 together. Did he come up with 4? Did the chocolate candy bars lead to anything?
Well, we had kind of a vibe going and all night, and then we went back to my place, and we were kind of
full with frat
snuggling
boys.
on the couch. Hey, I've got it under control. I've got my own place.
So there you are.
So
You're
we're
back at your place.
Yeah, so we're kind of snuggling on the couch, and we started kissing, and he kept pulling away and saying he had to go, and then we'd kiss
That's
some
right,
more,
come
and we
home
just
to me.
couldn't seem to pull away from each other.
And Steve, did you really have to go?
I did. It was getting late in the night, and it was 2:30, and I had an hour drive ahead of me, and I had some friends that were staying with me that needed to get to the
Of
airport.
course.
So Amy, since he cut it short and did have to bail out on you, were you disappointed?
Absolutely, because he was like the perfect guy. I mean, he's such a gentleman. He was really sweet, and I've been moving around a lot, and I haven't had time to have a real relationship for a while. But now I'm settled in one area, and so I'm kind of looking. So
you're ready.
He's taken.
don't be
Steve,
so sure.
would you consider Amy a perfect date as far as you were concerned?
A perfect day. She was wonderful. She had the best. Nothing could have gone wrong, no matter what happened. It was wonderful. She was a lot of fun.
Were you drunk?
All right, well, you know what? We're going to see how perfect a date it was because the question is, will Steve and Andrea stay together or have a change of heart? During the break, they're going to make their decision. We'll find out what that is when we come back, so stay with us. Moment of truth. During the break, Steve and Andrea each made a final decision about the future of their relationship, and there's no turning back now. Will they stay together, or have they had a change of heart? Andrea, you came on the show because you thought maybe that you were at a guy that was too perfect, and you thought maybe less was more. So, there we are. We set you out with Lawrence. Here's a guy that wasn't a frat boy. He wasn't living in an animal house, and he was willing to definitely romance you like a girlfriend and not some buddy. You guys took a trip up the coast. You stayed at a bed and breakfast. You had the bubble bath, the sleeping over part, everything else that went on there. But it's your decision. You want to stay together, or have you had a change of heart?
I had an amazing time with Lawrence, but I have so much history with Steve, and he's a great guy, but just that night with Lawrence made me realize I want to change my heart.
Change of heart. And Lawrence, is that okay with you? You're okay with that?
All right.
All right. Steve, your decision now. You said you wanted somebody that had some more sexual desires toward you, somebody that wasn't going to be so judgmental like you referred to Andrea as the queen of mean, and somebody that wasn't a big control freak. So there you were. You went out with Amy. You guys had a good time. You went out to the island. You were feeding each other strawberries and chocolate and whipped cream. You said it ended with a perfect kiss, but you did have to end the date short because you had some friends to attend to. Andrea had a change of heart. Steve, it's your decision. What do you say?
Well, Andrea and I have had a lot of great times together, and there's a lot of history there, and it's been really good. But after hearing about the date and how easy it was for someone else to move in that quickly, I think I'm going to go ahead and have a change of heart as well.
problems there. All right, well, I guess you guys figured it out that coming on the show that there were better people out there suited for you. You found them right here on the show, so congratulations with your new relationships, and thanks for being here. That is our show for today. Good luck to Andrea and Lawrence, and also to Amy and Steve. See you next time on Change of Heart.